character.
They were 3 very full days at Llandudno, though for a large part of each day you would hardly have known that 6,000 delegates were attending the Conservative and Unionist conference. The front, during the hours of session, appeared no more crowded than ever it is in any other week of October. Of course, there were crowds for the opening of each session, and there were generally a number of delegates coming and going in the intervals. Among them, you might have noticed some well-known journalists. Such notable figures as Mr. Harold MacMillan with Mr. Mark Chapman-Walker were to be seen. Obviously, the Iron and Steel Bill was one of the subjects of hot debate, and a spokesman from one of the companies marked down by the bill was Mr. W. Robson-Prior, who made a strong impression. A lot of speakers wished to be heard on this important topic, among the many which were vigorously debated, and one speaker for whom it was of personal interest was a steel worker and trade unionist, Mr. Bonner.
I have come here today to express the view that I know is shared by thousands of my fellow workmates of the British Iron, Steel and Kindred Trades Association. That we do not want the iron and steel industry to be nationalised.
He told an interesting story.
And, Mr. Chairman, last Thursday a deputation met our employer, and after the claim had been put forward, the employer retired to consider the claim. In his absence, the chairman of our deputation, who by the way has always been a socialist, turned to me and said, "I have been thinking the privilege we have enjoyed this afternoon and many others will be gone if ever they nationalise our industry."
The discussion wound up with an address by Mr. Oliver Lyttleton, formerly Minister of Supply.
I would just like to recapitulate the reasons why we as Conservatives should fight the nationalisation of iron and steel with all the resources that we can command. Now, first of all, it is certain that the government, through their nationalised companies, steel companies, will make a great range of finished steel products. And it is equally certain that a large number of independent firms will be left outside the deadly clutch of nationalisation. Now, those outside nationalisation will be dependent upon the government-controlled firms for their supply of steel billets. And the last...
He dealt realistically with possibilities which at the present time cannot be ignored.
If we think there's going to be a war, then a high steel output is necessary for survival. If we think there is going to be peace, then a high steel output is necessary if we are to bridge the gap by which we fall short of paying our way abroad. Common sense, which I hope is not going to become the monopoly of one party, says that when you want immediate results, it is a mistake to wrench a running concern from its foundations and start with a new organisation all anew. Let me just remind you of the figures of the steel output again. They are now at an all-time record for this country. Here they are. 1928, 8.5 million tons of ingot steel. 1938, 10.5, 1948, 15 million tons. What are we to think of a government who call for national unity and a national effort and then force through by devious manoeuvres, devious constitutional manoeuvres, a bill which I state categorically is against the interests of the workers in the steel industry, is against the interest of the industry itself, it is against the wishes of the majority of the electorate. This government preaches unity, but they practice all the methods which lead to disunity and division. So I ask you to carry this resolution to oppose the nationalization of steel in the country, tooth and nail, and so prevent an efficient and profit-making industry from being added in these times of crisis to the ever-growing list of nationalized industries which are making a loss.
The chairman then put a resolution demanding postponement of the bill until after the general election.
Against, that appears to be unanimous.